Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. न अहम कर्ता न भोक्ता इत्यादि आत्मा एकत्व अकर्तृत्व आदि विषय ज्ञानात् अन्यत् न उत्पद्यते इति विशेष उपपद्यते. Therefore, those who have this clear understanding that he is not the doer and not the enjoyer of the karma, then the self is one without a second, and in that one without a second there cannot be any activity, and therefore this is the greatness, speciality, visheshata for this wise man, Vidusha. Up to here we have seen. Now the second part of the argument. Yaha punaha karta aham iti vetti atmanam tasya mama idam kartavyam iti avashyam bhavine buddhi syat. Now see, this is a common experience. Those who think without them the world cannot move, and everybody has got his own definition of the world. So the mother and father, their world is the children. So they imagine without them the children cannot grow. Then the head of the family thinks that he is the one because of whom the whole family is running. He doesn't know that because of him the family is running mad, not running. So this kind of aham karta, when this thought is born, then mama idam kartavyam automatically comes up. Therefore those who talk all the time again and again about the kartavya karma, about the responsibility, about the being responsible, fulfilling one's duties, they are doing nothing but worshipping their own ego, nothing else. So, for them, iti avasham bhavini buddhisyat. Naturally, they will always think in this manner. Tadapekshaya saha adhikriyate iti tam prati karmani. And therefore, with reference to this understanding alone, they are qualified for doing all the karmas. Such a avidwan, and such a person is ignorant. Therefore, ignorant doesn't mean, suppose I don't know English, so I am ignorant. Suppose I don't know Sanskrit, I am ignorant. No. Ignorant means he who thinks that he is doing, and because of his doing the world is moving. He is an ignorant. And for such a person, there is no way but to keep on doing and suffering. And such a avidwan ubhautau navijanitaha iti vachanad. This is what is meant by these two statements, ubhautau navijanitaha. Visheshitasya cha vidushaha karma apeksha karma apeksha vachanad katham sa purushaha iti. Therefore, this katham sa purushaha, this statement is for negation of the karma adhikar, the necessity, obligation for the wise man in the karma. Tasmad visheshitasya avikriyatma darshinaha vidushaha mumukshoho cha sarva karma sannyase eva adhikaraha. Conclusion. So after having discussed this, now the teacher concludes, therefore, avikriyatmanaha darshinaha visheshitasya, he who has very clearly come to realize that the Atma Tattva is not undergoing any modification such as doership, kartrutva bhiman, as well as the karma, the receiving the result of the karma. Both of them are absent in this pure self. Vidushaha mumukshoho cha, for such a wise man, and those who are not yet wise, but they are the seekers of truth. They are mukshu. That means one is called as vividisha sannyas, second is called as vidvat sannyas. So this vividisha sannyasi, that means those who are studying the scripture, they have not yet known the truth, but they are now keenly wanting to discover the essential nature of theirs. For them also, karmani na adhikaraha, they have no authority in karma. Therefore, they have karma sannyasa adhikaraha. Ataha eva bhagwan narayana sankhyan vidushaha avidushaha cha karminaha pravibhajya dve nishthe grahayati jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam iti. Therefore, Bhagwan Narayanaha, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, Sankhyan Vidushaha and Karminaha Avidushaha. See, two very clear things. So those who are the followers of path of inquiry, such sincere seekers of truth, and Avidushaha, the ignorant, those who are busy in doing something or the other, for them pravibhajya dve nishthe grahayati. For them two different approaches are being told. Which are those? Jnana yogena sankhyanam. So the Sankhya thought which we are studying is for those who are following the path of knowledge and inquiry. And karma yogena yoginam. And those who are unable to understand and spend time in understanding, for them keep themselves busy physically in all kinds of activities. Tathacha putraya aha Bhagwan Vyasa. So also in Mahabharata we come to see that dvau imau atha panthanau. These are two paths. Ityadi. Tathacha kriya pathascha purastat paschat sannyasascha iti. And there also he tells there are two paths. First is the kriya marga, wherein you keep yourself in karma so that your heart is purified, and thereafter sannyasaha, paschat, and then take to renunciation. So etam eva vibhagam punah punah darshayati Bhagavan. And this is what is again and again emphasized, showed and established by the Lord. Atatvavittu ahankara vimudhatma karta ahamiti manyate. Tattvavittu aham na aham karomi iti. So ignorant person goes on thinking that I am the doer, and the wise person very clearly knows I am not the doer. So tathacha sarva karmani manasa sannyasyaaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. This also another quotation Bhagwan Shankaracharya gives. When this is being discussed, Bhagwan Shankaracharya brings out one more point. And this point is by those who are frustrated on the spiritual path. Who are frustrated on the spiritual path? Those who have a lot of expectation out of the spiritual progress. Lot of expectation out of the spiritual progress itself is the spiritual regress. It is not a progress. See, the other day I received a letter. Swamiji, I think, when I am with you and you teach the people and it is so clear and everything becomes nice. So I have started thinking that I should also develop some kind of thing so that I'll be able to teach and people will understand, and thus they will also understand and I will also grow. See, the moment this thought gets into your head, you are lost. Let the teaching happen. Don't get into struggle. So, who are those? Tatra kechit panditavanya vadanti. Panditam manya. There are some who think themselves to be wise. Panditam manya. Those who are erudite scholars. Janmadi shadvikara vikriya rahita avikriya akarta ekaha aham atma iti na kasyachis jnanam utpadyate. There is none in this world who has ever come to realize that there is one Atma which is without any Shadvikara, which is Akarta, Abhokta, etc. Nobody has yet realized this. Yasmin sati sarva karma sannyasa upadishyate. And therefore, this sarva karma sannyasa can be told only to that person who has recognized this akarta atma. And there is nobody who has ever recognized this atma. Nobody has realized. So this statement, sarva karma sannyasa, is only imagination. It is not meaningful. So Bhagavan says, na jayate ityadi shastra upadesha anarthakyat. If you say like that, then what is said in the scriptures, it will be meaningless. It is not meaningless. When the scriptures tell, na jayate mriyate va vipaschit, nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha, ajo nitya shashvato yam puranaha. So this will be considered as only the blabbering. It is not. Yathacha, now here Bhagavan beautifully gives an argument. Yathacha, shastropadesha samarthyat धर्म अस्तित्व विज्ञानम कर्तुहु च देहांतर संबंधी ज्ञानम च उत्पद्यते. सी शास्त्र सामर्थ्यात, on the authority of the instructions from the scriptures alone, there is dharma astitva vijnana, and there is the doer, and after the present body is discarded, another body is gained. This knowledge, when this knowledge can take place through the scriptural authority, tatha similarly, shastrat tasya eva atmanaha avikriyatva, akartrutva, ekatva adi vijnanam kasmatna utpadyate iti drashtavyaha. One part of the scriptures you are ready to accept. That, have you seen the Punarjanma? Have you gone to the heaven? Do you know after the present body is discarded, you will enter a particular body? Where from you know this? From the scriptures. That we accept. So if that you are ready to accept, then the same scriptures are talking about the truth. And how do you say this knowledge will not take place? Therefore, this is only because I have not realized, therefore how can others? This is so common thing. One day, one person, after my lecture was over, he came to give thanks. This happened in Goa. And he said, I am so surprised to know that this verse is from Gita and even I did not know. Before 3,500 people, and a very respected man of the society. Now what he is talking, he himself is not aware. Even I did not know. Means what? I am the authority of ignorance, not wisdom. So these are called as Panditam Manyaha. Therefore, Shastra tasya eva atmanaha kasmad na utpadyate iti prashtavyaha. Suppose they say, Karana agocharatvad iti chet. Because that Atma cannot be known through senses, through the mind. Nothing it can be done. So Bhagavan says, nay Baba, it's not like that. Manasa eva anudrashtavyam. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, iti shrutehe. But in your Kenopanishad it is said, na tatra chakshur gacchati na manaha. And here you are telling manasa eva anudrashtavyam. Yes, when you say it is wrong, when we say it is right. How? Shastra Acharya Upadesha Shama Damadi Sanskritam Mana Atma Darshane Karanam. This is what is meant. If you remember this Vedanta Sar, there this topic is taken. The topic is that the Atma should be known by the mind. In one place it is said, Atma vare drashtavya mantavya shrotavya nididhyasitavya cha. And in other place it is said, the Atma cannot be known by the mind. na tatra manaha gacchati. So, is not a contradiction in the scriptures itself about this? So, this contradiction is sorted out, if you remember, that in case of the objective knowledge, the vritti vyapti is followed by phala vyapti. So, like I know this pencil, so this is a pencil is a vritti vyapti. And phala vyapti, I know this is a pencil. But in case of the Atma Tattva, there is only vritti vyapti. After knowing the Atma Tattva, the I doesn't remain. This is called as liberation from I. See? But in the Yoga Shastra and this other marga, other path what they do, they maintain the I. And then they glorify the I. Healthy I, unhealthy I. And it continues. Therefore, manasa eva anudrashtavyam shastra acharya upadesha shamadama adi sanskritam mana atma darshane karanam. So, such a mind which is well trained, which is purified, which is disciplined with the support of the scriptures, the instruction from the acharya, such a mind, atma darshane karanam, become the means of recognition of the self. तथा च तद अधिगमाय अनुमाने आगमे च सति ज्ञानम न उत्पद्यति इति साहसम एतत्. This being so, to say that in the presence of the inference and the scriptural authority, to say that there is no possibility that anybody has ever realized the truth. Sahasam eva. This is a great arrogance. It cannot be said like that. So, jnanam cha utpadyamanam tad viparitam ajnanam avashyam badhate iti abhyupagantavyam. So, when the jnana vritti takes place, then the ajnana vritti is destroyed. So, what is the ajnana? What is the ignorance? Dehoham, parichinnoham, janma mrityuvan aham. So, this ignorance is destroyed by the jnana vritti that aham brahmasmi. So, taccha ajnanam darshitam hanta aham hataha asmi iti. And this is that ignorance which was told that I am the killer and I am one who is getting killed. So, ubhautau na vijanitaha. So, both of them know not. Iti atracha atmanaha hanana kriyayaha kartrutvam karmatvam hetu kartrutvam cha ajnana kritam darshitam. So, what is meant by this particular verse is atmananaha hanana kriyayaha kartrutvam. The self engage in the act of killing, the doership first. Second, karmatvam, on whom the action is falling. So, I am going to kill Bhishmacharya, Dronacharya. Second. And third, hetu kartrutvam, and somebody is prompting me to go and kill others. These three things are ajnana kritam. They are only born out of ignorance. Because when I consider myself to be body, then alone I look at the whole world as a body. When I consider myself to be influenced by the age, then I look upon the whole world influenced by the age. When I consider myself to be rich, then I classify the world into the poor and the rich. When I consider myself to be overdeveloped, then I divide the world into never developed and ever developed. This is how our understanding about ourselves declares the position of the world. So, taccha sarvakriyasu api samanam kartrutvadehe avidyakrutvatvam avikriyatvat atmanaha. So, this non-doership of the self is common for all the activities. It is not only killing here. Sarvakriyasu api samanam. kartrutvadehe avidyakrutatvam. So all the activities are born out of ignorance and there is no second opinion about it. Because atmanaha avikriyatvad, because the self is never engaged in any activity. Vikriyavan hi karta atmanaha karmabhutam anyam prayojanati kuruviti. So the one who is a modifier himself, the karta, the doer, he alone tells others to do something or the other. See how true it is. Suppose I have to do something and I am not able to do that. So what will I do? I will tell others. So doing, kartrutva, and karayata, and the one who makes other do, both of them, ubhautau na vijanitaha. Further, tad etad asheshena vidushaha sarvakriyasu kartrutva hetu kartrutva pratishedati bhagwan vidushaha karma adhikara abhava pradarsanartham veda vinashanam katham sapurusha ityadina. Therefore, ultimately what it means? Asheshena, exhaustively, completely, vidushaha sarvakriyasu, of the wise person, with reference to all the karmas, kartrutvam hetu kartrutvam, the doership and making anybody do anything, pratishedati bhagavan. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is not accepting it. So vidushaha karma adhikara abhava pradarsanartham. Why he is not accepting it? Because for the wise man of knowledge, there is karma adhikara abhava. There is no obligation for him to do or not to do anything in this world. Please remember this. Karma adhikara abhava means both. It is not that he should not do. That is his freedom. He may do, he may not do. Otherwise that will become a vidhi nisheda. It is not like that. So kap puna vidusha adhikara iti eta uktam purvam eva jnana yogena sankhyanam. Then for wise people, what for they are meant? Only eating? No. So vidusha adhikaraha eta uktam purvam eva jnana yogena sankhyanam. So these people are qualified for the contemplation, study, understanding, inquiry about the truth. तथा च सर्वकर्म संन्यासम वक्षति सर्वकर्माणि मनसा संन्यस्यास्ते सुखम वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन्. So in this verse, Bhagavan will be telling, vakshati, he will be telling, sarvakarma sannyasam. All activities are totally renounced by the wise man. By this verse. When this is said, this kind of argument is very childish but it is there in this world. Nanu manasa iti vachanat na vachikanam kayikanam cha sannyasa iti chet. When Bhagavan says, sarva karmani manasa sannyasyaaste sukham vashi. So Bhagavan said only manasa, not vachikanam kayikanam sannyasa iti chet. If this is said, Bhagavan says, na sarva karmani iti visheshijatvad. When Bhagavan said sarva karmani manasa, so sarva karmani includes all the kayik, vachik and manasik. Therefore, you have this objection, only the manasik karma should be renounced and not other. This is not right. And again question is asked, manasanam eva sarva karmanam iti chet. Suppose it is said that only all the manasik karma should be renounced and not the kayik and vachik, not the bodily and the speech wise. No. मनोव्यापार पूर्वकत्वाद वाक्काय व्यापाराणाम मनोव्यापारा भावे तद अनुपपत्ते है. Because all the activities of the body and the speech are always when the mind is associated. If the mind is not associated, the body and the speech cannot function. Like a person has a habit of talking at night. There are people who talk at night. Now when he talks at night, do you think that people will take it seriously? No. Therefore, here your objection is not right. Again, one more objection. शास्त्रीयानां वाक्काय कर्मणां कारणानि मानसानि वर्जयित्वा अन्यानि सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्निश्चयति इति चेत्. One more thing. शास्त्रीयानां वाक्काय कर्मणां कारणानि मानसानि वर्जयित्वा, other than the manasic karma, or other should be done. If this is what is meant, then is it okay? No, because the teacher says, na eva kurvan na karayan iti. In the same verse it says that sarva karmani manasa sannyasyasте sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan na karayan. So neither he is doing nor he is making others do. Therefore this objection is not right. Again, sarva karma sannyasa ayam bhagavata uktah manishyatah na jivatah iti chet. See, sarva karma sannyasa is said for those, for the one who is murshu, who is dying or who is dead. For them it is said, now you give up all activities. Not for the living, not jivataha. So Bhagavan says, no, it is said, navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvan na karayan, while living very much in this body. So nahi sarva karma sannyasena mrutasya taddehe asanam sambhavati akurvataha akarayataha cha. Therefore, the one who has given up all the karma, sarva karma sannyas, he na asanam sambhavati akurvataha akarayataha cha. So when he is not there in the dead body, how can he do or not do anything? So dehe sannyasi iti na dehe aste iti chet. Again one doubt is there. Suppose what is meant is that he should keep all the karma in the body and should not do himself. If this is said, so everything is done by the body and not by the mind, etc. So mind karma can be continued. Bhagavan says, sarvatra atmanaha avikriyatva avadharanat. Because asan kriyayaha cha adhikarana apekshatvat tad anapekshatvat cha sannyasasya. So when you say you are separating the atma from the body and thereafter sarva karma sannyasa is possible. So after separating the atma from the body means after death, then sarva karma sannyasa is meant. So he said it is not said because asana kriyayaha naiva kurvanna karayan. So navadvare pure dehi, as when he is very much living inside the body, it is not after death. Therefore tad anapekshatvacha, and it is not meant here. Sannyasa means what? Sampurvakaha tu nyasaha shabda iti. No, this is not the meaning. Sannyasa shabda has two meanings. See, one means what? Sannyasa means. You must have read, इस पुल का शिलान्यास इनके कर कमलों द्वारा हुआ. So शिलान्यास means proper placement. Sannyasa means completely proper placement. So sannyasa means recognizing yourself correctly, that is called as sannyasa. But here that is not the meaning. Here sannyasa means tyaga. Nyasa means tyaga, complete tyaga. Therefore, iha tyagarthaha na niksheparthaha. So in this reference, the word sannyasa is used for indicating giving up the karma and not by any other mean. Tasmad Gita Shastre Atmajnanavataha sannyasi eva adhikaraha na karmani iti tatra tatra uparishtat atmajnana pakarane darshishamaha. Therefore, in Gita Shastra, Atmajnanavataha, for the one who is established in the self, for him, sannyase eva adhikaraha na karmani. He has renounced all the activities and not obliged to do anything in this world. And I shall show you, darshishamaha, I shall show you, tatra tatra, wherever this topic comes, uparishtat atmajnana prakarane. wherever this topic will come about Atma Jnana, I shall explain to you. Prakrutam tu akshamaha atra atmanaha avinashitvam pratijnatam tat kim iva uchyate. Now let us come back to the topic. See? Prakrutam tu akshamaha. Now let us come back to the topic. We are off the topic or what? That is what we are thinking. Here we have started Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna has disappeared, Krishna has disappeared, and in between so many things have come. So Bhagavan also thought probably that these students must be thinking what we are studying. So prakrutam tu vakshamaha. Now what is said? Atra atmanaha avinashitvam pratijnatam. It was said that is Veda vinashanam nityam. Enam ajam avyayam. So this Paramatma Tattva has to be recognized as avinashinam. How the self is avinashi, indestructible? This is shown through some example. Now this is the most popular verse of Bhagavad Gita and most misunderstood. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunhati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sayyati navani dehi. Now see, before we take up, understand two standpoints. When you understand like this, that in one bottle there is maybe one piece of gold, and that bottle breaks. So what we'll do? We'll take that piece of gold and put in another bottle. In this manner, when this body, the bottle, breaks, then Atma comes out of this body and goes and enters into another body. This is what these Yoga Shastra, etc. have the understanding. See? They always show, also must have seen cinema, that when Shishupal was killed by Bhagavan Krishna after receiving 100 abuses from him, so his throat was cut. Then one Jyoti came out from that, and that Jyoti came and entered Bhagavan Krishna. So the Atma was inside the body and he came out. This is one understanding. Second understanding. When the pot breaks, the pot space is orphan. Will that pot space, after the pot has broken, go in search of another pot empty? Get into that. See, two standpoints. In one standpoint, you consider the self, the Atma, to be inside, and therefore coming and going is associated. The other way, when you consider the self, the truth, is the one in which the body is. Like in the space the pot is. So when the pot breaks, will that space go here and there? Think. The second meaning is meant by this verse. But most of the people take the first meaning, because it is very enchanting. Atma has gone out of this body. And after he has gone out, then he was searching where to go, where to go, where to go. And finally he saw one board, too late. Got it in between. This is very, very difficult to understand. Do you remember our Panchadashi and also, Vedanta Sar, referring to Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is said, Na tasya prana utkramanti tatra eva viliyante brahmaiva san brahmaiva bhavati. See? There is no coming and going. But when you consider yourself to be the jiva, papaham, papa karma, then go and come. See? When you consider yourself to be poor, then what? Then struggle, earn money. And when you say, I am perfectly all right, I am not poor. Who called me I am poor? I am all right. See? These are all only imaginations. So when I imagine myself to be body, I start living in this waking world as the real existence. When I imagine myself to be soul in this body, then I am all the time living in the imagination of this life, this world, that world. Then I was sitting for meditation, and then I went to Varun Loka. And in that Varun Loka, there was everywhere water. I was all the time worried how they must be ironing their clothes. See? When you consider yourself to be inside the body and thus doing this, doing that, all these things will be valid. And when you discover that the whole world is in me, I am not in them, like the space. Therefore, if you remember in our meditation, we are emphasizing this point again and again. That when you slowly, by the practice of stilling the body, then by the force of pranayam, slowly, when the Kevala Kumbhaka takes place, na tasya prana utkramanti. See? Otherwise, bhogi goes through the adhodvara, apanavayu, and the yogi goes out from the brahmarandra. Both of them are the individuals, the jiva. See? But when you come to discover that this self, which is like the space, and therefore there is no concept of in and out, where is the question of coming and going? Now, keeping these two things in mind, we will study this verse in two ways. First, we will take Bhagavan Shankaracharya what he said, and then we will go ahead. Vasamsi vastrani jirnani durbalatam gatani yatha loke vihaya parityajya navani abhinavani grunnati upadatte naraha purushaha aparani anyani tatha tadvad eva sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sanyati sangachati navani dehi atma purushavad avikriya eva ityarthaha. Now Bhagavan Shankaracharya gives a very simple example. Just like when the vasamsi, the clothes, jirnani, when they become worn out, then what do people do? Loke vihaya, they give up the old clothes. And then navani abhinavani grunnati upadatte, then they take up to the new clothes. And aparani anyani, so other new clothes they take up. Tadvat, in the same way, sharirani vihaya jirnani. So the old bodies, when they become worthless, they are discarded, and anyani sanyati, and the soul or the self takes to new bodies. Atma, Purushavat. Now in this, what attention Bhagavan Shankaracharya is drawing. Now here the attention is where? On the bodies or on the Atma? On the clothes or on the person? If your attention is on the clothes, what do you say? that like the man takes throws the old clothes, takes the new clothes on him, in the same manner the soul discards this old body, takes a new body and continues to remain inside the body. That is not the meaning. What is the meaning is, although the conditions are changing around, yet the reality supporting all the changes remains unchanged. That is the meaning. See, clothes are becoming old, they are thrown, but a person is the same. Is it not our experience? We have thrown our old clothes of the childhood body. Then we have thrown our another set of clothes, the teenage body. But we are the same. So attention is on this continuous, unbroken, homogeneous one reality. That is the point to be attention given to. And this attention again creates this problem which I explained you. When you consider that Atma means the soul, soul means the Jiva, Jiva means the one who goes and comes out of this body, in the same manner, when we become poor, old, we die, then Atma goes from this body, enters into another body, and all the story goes on. And these stories are so enchanting. We forget why the stories have started. Extremely important. I remember one day in some other country, one person, he came to talk to me on this topic. He says, Swamiji, can you prove the rebirth? Because rebirth is necessary for Hinduism. I said, I don't know where from you have learned Hinduism. Why? Rebirth is not necessary? I said, no. Why? Birth is not necessary. Why rebirth? Nobody in your Gita it is said, Vasanchi Jinnani. I said, it is said, but what you have understood, that is important. See, this is very clear. Atma Purushavat Avikriyaha eva ityartaha. So, all that is changing in this world is supported by the unchanging reality. If your attention is on that, where is the question of going and coming? Going and coming is again change. That is why, I have gone through all that. And when I came to know, I said, hey, where I am getting lost? Like, this Yoga Marga, Kundalini awakening, and development of beautiful divine powers. You say something that happens, you casually make a mention and exactly that has happened. All these things are the one which are the byproducts. And when you get caught up into that now you are the Mooladhara is open, other is open, third is open, fourth is open, and you are closed. What is the use of everything opening except yourself? How important. And then many people come and ask these questions. Swamiji, he is my friend. Namaste. Swamiji, I said, let him talk. Is it dumb? No, he can talk. Let him talk. Then he starts talking. Swamiji, my all chakras are open. Now what I should do? Now you tell me what I should speak. I say, close. Isn't somebody says, Swamiji, my buttons are open. And I should do, close them. Now see, this is how we get lost. That is not the path of reality. So the most important thing is, we discard the form of the mind. When the form of the mind is discarded, mind attains back the original status of consciousness. And in consciousness, there being no mind, there cannot be a soul. Soul is nothing. Aham viddhi manaha. Our Raman Maharshi says. That's why, he is the only Mahatma in the recent years whose pranas do not leave the body. Na tasya prana utkramanti. Tatra eva brahma samashtute. There and there dissolved. So, it is something like, an ice cube falls in the water. Where will it go? From this water to that water? No. In the same manner. This verse focuses attention on this unchanging Paramatma Tattva, avikriyatva atmanaha. Focus attention on this. Otherwise it is so enchanting. Vasamsi jirnani yathavyaya davani gurannadi tathoparani. When people die, there they go on chanting this. That means they have accepted the death of the body. And embodied, which is eternal, that is being rejected. So that soul, if it is there, it must be watching, see people, they are crying for the body and I am still alive. They don't bother about me. Not giving me water, it's very hot. Atma purushavat avikriyaha eva ityartaha. Therefore, our understanding will differ according to what stand we have taken. If you take a stand that you are inside the body, then papa, punya, gati, agati will continue. And if you come to know that the body is in you, akashavat, then whether the body remains or doesn't remain, nothing is lost to the space when even planets are destroyed. And when the space is destroyed, nothing happens to the Chidakash. That Chidakash is the truth. Discover, hold on to this again and again and again. Then see the joy of life. Kasmat avikriya eva itiyaha. So, why this Atma is without any modification? Because Nainam chindanti shastrani Nainam dahati pavakaha Nachainam kledayantyapo Nashoshayati marutaha. Now see to what this verse is applied. There are 4 elements. Out of the 5, there are 4 in this. One is the earth. Second is the water. Third is the fire. And fourth is the air. So, enam shastrani means the earth. Various kinds of instruments like the dagger or the sword or axe is made out of the earth. So, enam shastrani na chindanti. Second thing, enam pavakaha, fire, na dahati. Enam atmanam. Third, enam apaha na kledayanti. The fourth method of destruction is when something is subjected to water continuously, it gets rotten and destroyed. And the fourth, enam marutaha na shoshayati. The air does not dry it out. 4 things. Now, which is that on which these 4 things don't affect is the space. Is it not? The space supports earth. Space supports fire, space supports water and the air. Because of the earth, the space does not have any smell. Because of the fire, the space does not get burnt. Because of the water, the space does not become wet. And because of the air, the space does not become dry. Meaning what? The Atma that we are talking about is like space. Now, if it is like space means what? This is how, one of the methods given in Avadhuta Gita on meditation, this technique. You sit quietly and start contemplating that Akashavat. To be space means being like what? This is the technique. So when you start this contemplation, to be space-like means what? And then go on deeper and deeper understanding. So first, you have no shape. Second thing, you don't have to go anywhere. Third thing, all the four elements don't influence on you. Fourth thing, they are in me, but I am not in them. See? There is absolutely automatic stillness. Because all the movement is taking in the space. Space does not move. This avikriya atma. So, nainam chandanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, nachainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. These are the four possible techniques for the destruction of anything in this world. So, enam prakrutam dehinam, this Atma Tattva that we are talking about in the present context, na chindanti shastrani. The shastra, the instruments of destruction, cannot cut it into pieces. Why? Nira avayavatvat. Na avayava vibhagam kurvanti shastrani asyadini. Asi means the sword. So, what can be cut? That which has got the limbs. A tree can be cut. You cannot cut water. You cannot cut space. So, na enam dehinam chindanti shastrani nira avayavatvad shastrani asyadini. Second thing, tatha na enam dahati pavakaha agnihi api na bhasmi karoti. The space cannot be reduced to ashes by the fire. Same, na enam kledayanti apaha apam hi sa avayavasya vastunaha ardri bhava karnena avayava vishlesha apadane samarthyam tadna nir avayave atmani sambhavati. Water also can rot things which has got the shape, the form, the limbs. Tatha snehava dravyam sneha shoshanena nashayati maruta vayu enam swatmanam na shoshayati marutaha api. Like the water dehydrates the things and they are reduced to the powder. In the same manner, this Paramatma Tattva cannot be influenced by, touched by any means of destruction. This being so, yata evam tasmat achedyo yamadayyo yam akledyo shoshya evacha nitya sarvagata sthanuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. Because enam shastrani na chindanti ataha achedyaha. Second, enam pavakaha na dahati ataha adayiha. Enam apaha na kledayanti ataha akledyaha. And yataha marutaha na shosheti ataha ashoshya evacha. Therefore, this Atma Tattva is the one which cannot be influenced by any means of destruction. Therefore, Nityaha. So, Yasmad Anyonya Nasha Hetuni Bhutani Enam Atmanam Nashayitum Na Utsante. Now, see here what is meant. The water, the earth is dissolved in the water. So the earth can be destroyed and getting merged in the water. The water can be destroyed and goes back to the fire element. The fire can be destroyed and goes back to the air element. And the air can be destroyed and goes back to the space element. So, these elements, they are anyonya nasha hetu bhutani. They are able to destroy each other. But they cannot destroy the self. This is the meaning. So, tasmat nityaha, and therefore it is nitya. Second, nityatvat sarvagataha. See, nitya sarvagata sthanu achaloyam sanatanaha. This is continuous thought. So, nityatvat sarvagataha, being indestructible, ever the same, therefore sarvagataha, sarvagatatvat, ever present. Now tell me, when you have to understand from our understanding point of view, sarvagata, all pervading. Now can the Atma, which is the soul inside the body, be thought of all pervading? See? Therefore it is very essential to remove once for all this notion of going to heaven and after the death, the next life I should have a better life, therefore let me do karma, good karma, bad karma. How long will we continue with this? This is okay for some time, not all the time. One has to discard all these wrong notions about spirituality. Therefore, anything that will strengthen your body identification, anything that will strengthen your jiva bhava is a sin. Give it up. Very, very essential. Otherwise, all the time, this I had to do, that I had to do, there is no end to that. So, nityatvat sarvagataha. Now, sarvagatatvat sthanuhu. Like space is everywhere, rather everything is in the space. So, like space, sthanu iva sthira iti. As the space never moves. Everything is moving in the space. So, why the example is given sthanu? Because we can understand that only. See, how many times this thought came in our mind that the space does not move and all the movements are taking in the space. But this no. See, electric khamba, it doesn't move like that. Now I understood. Atma is like electric khamba, doesn't move. Therefore, it is a tragedy for the teachers to explain the truth. Because anything that is said, it is perfectly wrongly understood. Like here, like vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. Now the teacher wants to bring our attention to the continuity of the reality, but we get enchanted by the clothes. Narayan. So, sarvagatatvat sthanu iva thira iti etat. Now, sthiratvat achalaha. Achala means immoving, because it is stable, it is immoving. Achalaha. Now, ajalaha ayam atma ataha sanatanaha. And therefore it has never changed. It is ever the same. Chirantanaha. Na karanat kutaschid nishpannaha. And therefore it is not born out of any cause. And therefore it is abhinavaha ityartaha. It is ever the same. It is not created in time, it has not become old, it is ever the same. Na etesham shlokanam paunurukyam chodaniyam. Now here one very important topic is brought out by Bhagavan Shankaracharya. He says, do not mistake these verses as being repeated again and again the same thing. Although there is a repetition. So, न एतेषां श्लोकानां पौनरुक्त्यं चोदनीयम्. Then यद एकेन एव श्लोकेन आत्मनः नित्यत्वं अविक्रियत्वं उक्तं न जायते म्रियते वा इत्यादि. So by this verse न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित, by this verse already avikriyatva, absence of modification, and nityatva being eternal is already said. So why again and again you are saying the same thing? Vasamsi jirnani the same thing, nayanam chindanti the same thing, achedyoyo dayoyam same thing. Why are you telling the same thing again and again? So don't mistake that this is only punarikti, again and again telling the same thing. Then why? So, tatra yad eva atma vishayan kinchid uchyate tataha etasma shlokarthat na atirichyate kinchid shabdataha punaruktam kinchid arthataha iti. What is said in one verse, something little bit added in the next verse. Something little more is added in the next verse. So sometimes the words are helping, sometimes the presentation is helping. Although the truth is being said again and again. But why? Because durbodhatvat atmavastunaha punah prasangam apadya shabdantarena tad evam vastu niropayati Bhagavan Vasudeva. Because knowing well, very well, atmavastunaha durbodhatvat. It should be not durbadhatvat, make it durbodhatvat. I was thinking, why is durbadhatvat? I was reading durbodhatvat, but coming durbadhatvat. Atmanaha durbodhatvat, being extremely difficult to recognize what is meant by Atma. Because we get involved into so many understanding of Atma. Whether it is the Papatma or Punyatma, or whether it is the Jivatma, or whether it is the Karan and Mahakaranatma. See? Therefore, Durbodhatvat Atmavastuna Punah Prasangam Apadya. So Bhagavan again and again bringing the same topic, Shabdantarena, using different word, Tadeva Vastum Nirupayati. Again and again the same thing is being bombarded. Katham nu nama, how beautiful Bhagavan Shankara writes, Katham nu nama samsarinam avyaktam tatvam buddhi gocharatam apannam sat samsara nirrutte syaditi. Because Bhagavan Krishna is concerned about what? How these samsari people will come to recognize this absolute reality so that their tragedies of relative existence will disappear. And therefore, again and again, he is bringing this topic using different ways, different words, different styles. So, katham nu nama samsarinam avyaktam tattvam buddhi gojaratam apannam sad samsara nivrutte syaditi. With this concern, Bhagavan is again and again explaining. Kincha further, avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanu shochitum arhasi. See the tragedy of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He is telling only one thing again and again. Rona mat. Don't cry. One after Nanu shochitum arhasi, Nanu shochitum arhasi, Nanu shochitum arhasi, tatraka paridevana. One after another. He must be disgusted with Arjuna. If you don't want to fight, but don't cry. Important is that in life. Therefore, never justify your low spirit. Never seek sympathy from the world. This condition, anybody will be miserable. No, you are specially miserable. Don't do that. That is contrary to the spirit of spiritual life. So, avyaktaha sarva karana avishayatvad na vyajyate iti avyaktaha ayam atma avyaktoyam. So this atma tattva cannot be comprehended by any means of knowledge such as senses, mind, etc. And therefore it is called as avyakta, cannot be manifested, cannot be comprehended, cannot be found out. Ata eva achintyaha ayam. And therefore you cannot think about the truth. You can think about something which is like something. See, for example, suppose there is some object, a particular object, let us say in Africa, and the name is something, tango. We do not know what tango means. So an African will come and explain. Tango you don't know. In our country everywhere there is tango. But what is that tango? See, tango is a fruit. Oh, so we start gathering some data. Now fruit means which fruit? Whether it is a tomato, because that is also a fruit. Whether it is mango, that is also a fruit. Or whether it is a dry fruit. Then slowly and slowly some information is added, and then we may make some imagination about tango. So, about this Atma Tattva, nothing can be said. Because there is Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupa, Arasam, Agandhavat, Arasam Chayat. So your mind cannot think. Therefore, Ataha eva achintya ayam Atma. Yadhi indriya gocharam vastu tat chinta vishayatvam apadyate. Ayam tu Atma anindriya gocharatvad achintyaha. And therefore you cannot think about the Atma Tattva. Because you just try to think what the Atma is like. When you think about your body as the Atma, then you can keep on thinking, I am like Amitabh Bachchan, or I am like anybody like that, and I am young, I am like Vivekananda. You can keep on thinking with reference to body. With reference to your activities, you can think, I am dynamic like Vivekananda. Then, with reference to your emotions, I am emotional like Mirabai. Mere to Giridhar Gopal. I am intelligent like Shankaracharya. Something. But when it comes to the pure self, there is no like anybody. And therefore, achintya cannot be contemplated, thought of. So, avikarya ayam athak yatha kshiram dadhyad anchanadina vikari na tatha ayam atma. So, like the milk is converted into the yogurt or the curds, in the same manner, this atma is not converted into jiva because of addition of the starter. You add starter to the milk and it becomes curd. So add little bit of avidya, ignorance, and jiva is created. No. So avikari and niravayatvacha avikriyaha. And the last one is achintya ayam avikari uchyate. Because niravayatvat, there is no limb, there is no shape, there is no form. Nahi niravayavam kinchit vikriyatmakam drishtam. For example, space does not have any avayav, any form. Therefore, this cannot be seen to have any changes. Avikriyatvad avikaryaha ayam atma uchyate. And therefore, this atma is called as avikari, undergoing no changes. Tasmat evam yathokta prakarena enam atmanam viditva. Once you understand the Atma to be like this, then natvam shochitum arhasi. Then you cannot have the grief. What is the grief? Hanta aham isham maya iti hanyante iti. I am their killer and they are being killed by me. So, there is no reason for you to be miserable and grief stricken for imagining that you are the doer and they are the one on whom the action of killing is falling. No. So up to here, Bhagavan has brought out the highest philosophy that is available to the humankind. If we follow this, then everything becomes totally different in our life. And if we do not follow this, keep on continuing crying, even then you should not cry. So from here, all other standpoints are taken. And these standpoints are something like, from the sublime falling to the ridiculous. It is something like this, One person came with me to one temple Vishwanath temple. Now to go and have darshan on Shivratri of Vishwanath Bhagwan was a great opportunity, joy for me. So I was in that very nice, deep, contemplative mood. And then one person did namaskar. Swamiji, are you Anubhavananda? Are you coming in that? Yes, I am. What can I do now? Why don't you tell the people why this is so, wet everywhere? It's not clean. The temple should be clean. Now you are in such a deep contemplative mood. From there, why there is a dirt here? So from the sublime to the ridiculous, in the same manner, having taken to the heights of understanding, now Bhagwan comes back to Arjuna's level. What he says, we'll read it and see it in our next class. Atmanaha anityatvam abhyupagamya idam uchyate. Atha chainam nityajatam. Nityam va manyase mrutam. Tathapi tvam mahabaho. Naivam shochitum arhasi. Now this one we will take in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.